Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get out the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And my special guest today is Corinne. Corinne is the founder of Wondermom Wannabe, where she helps busy moms simplify home life so they can spend less time juggling and more time laughing together. Through her printables, planners, and practical systems, she makes everyday tasks easier and the holidays more joyful. And Corinne, I am super excited to chat with you today. But before we get into all the questions I have for you, can you tell the good audience just a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Sure. You said it already, but I'm at Wondermom Wannabe, and really that site was born out of the fact that I spent way too many years being overwhelmed by how much there was to do, feeling like a failure a lot. I was a military spouse, so he was gone a lot, so I didn't even have the partner around most of the time to share the burden of trying to get stuff done. And I hate that I wasted years feeling sorry for myself and not being present with my children. So that has really been my mission from the start, is to help other moms avoid that. And a lot of it is, it's simple, right? Like you just have to have the systems and the tricks to do that. So once I figured that out a little later than I'd wish I had, I started sharing those ideas, those printables. That's how Wonder Mom Wannabe came to be, because it's that aspirational, I want to be a superhero mom and always trying to get there, but maybe having a little more fun along the way and realizing it's not so important to be perfect. It's more important to be present. So that's the whole driving philosophy behind what I do.
I love that. And I love what you said about we want to be present, right?
Yeah.
We want to be present for our family. And as a mama for myself, I can relate to that. You want to be here, but we have so much that we're doing and so much that we have to do and have on our to-do list. And
Right.
today I want to really delve into this with you. Holidays are coming up, and there's such a busy time of year.
Yes.
Can you walk us through? Tell us a little bit about your background here. What really inspired you to start simplifying how your family celebrates? And what did that change for you?
So, like a lot of moms, I think I'm very type A and I love Pinterest. So, the holidays are supposed to be magical, and the magic is Santa, and like we're Santa. So, it's so much on us, and it's on moms. If we're being honest, it's on moms. I know I had a different scenario because my husband was gone all the time, but I'm friends with a lot of moms whose husbands are around, and it is. We care more about it. We want to create those memories, and we're with the children more. So the burden of making that season very magical falls to us. We take our roles as mothers very seriously and wanting to shelter our kids and give them the best. And the holidays were bombarded with all the things that we have to do in order to make that, and things we want to do, right? Like you want to bake cookies with them, and you want to do gingerbread houses, and you want to make ornaments, and it's all a lot of fun, but it's also another thing to do at the busiest, most expensive time of the year. Like it's very overwhelming. And I think the big mental shift for me is we used to do dinner questions all the time at dinner, and the kids would we could choose different questions, and the kids always got to choose the questions. And we were talking about after Christmas, everybody talking about what their favorite gift was or what their favorite memory of Christmas was. The kids could barely remember like the things that they got. They did not care about the things. What they cared about were like the weird little moments that you thought nothing of. They loved watching the Christmas. The easiest thing we did, watching a Christmas movie, was one of their favorite things. And like when it was that dinner conversation, I was like, we've been doing this wrong. Like, I have been doing this wrong. Like, my kids get a very stressed out mom that's got this itinerary and all these things we've got to do. And they are loving the slow down moments where we're just spending time as a family. The easiest moments for us to accomplish. I was like throwing into this mix of all this other chaos. So that for me really shifted my perspective on the holidays and how we structure our traditions and how we plan that time together so that my kids feel seen and they feel like I'm there for them in the holidays, the time that we want to be about family, instead of that it's super duper important that we get the Christmas cards out. I have not sent Christmas cards in 18 years. So, because that to me was a stressful thing. It's stressful for me. The whole aspect of it was stressful, and my kids don't care. So, that went out the window.
So I want to delve into a couple things that you mentioned there because all of that I can completely relate to, just so you know, especially with the husband who doesn't help around the holidays.
Yeah,
Maybe I can get him to put some lights out or put up the tree
right.
so I can decorate them. But that's about it. But that's
And
I
then
think
even then the mental load's on you.
yeah.
You have to decide what needs to be done. It's not like they're ever like, "Oh, please, let's hurry up and get the Christmas decorations out." Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about what you said about your kids and what they were actually like remembering about the holidays. And I know that you talk a lot about focusing on connection instead of perfection. And I love that. So, walk us through what that actually means in practice and how can we actually do that in our lives over the
So
holidays?
the easiest way for me on this is to stop thinking about what do I need to do? How do I want my family to feel? That's the question that I focus on. Because that's really what we're after, right? Like, we want our kids to feel good. We want them to feel safe. We want them to feel loved. If you keep focused on that, a lot of this, that's how Christmas cards went out the window for me. And I'm not saying anyone that does Christmas cards is doing it wrong. If that's a joyful thing that your family enjoys doing, by all means, keep it. But because your family feels that way about it. So if you stop worrying about the to-do list, stop doing what like everybody on Pinterest is doing, or stop doing what all the other moms in the group are doing, because every family is different. So if you just use that focus, how do I want my family to feel? And what is it that I do to make them feel that way? I think you'll find like the things on that are much easier to do. And you look forward to them. They're easier to work into your schedule because they're more fun.
I love that. And I want to talk a little bit about your countdown to Christmas because I think that falls into
Oh,
this also. How does that help families slow down and enjoy the season? And what kind of activities do you have in that?
okay, so I'm glad you asked that because a lot of times when I talk about this, people are like, you just told me to focus more on feeling and not doing, and then you're telling me to plan something every day for 25 days. Like, that it seems counterintuitive. It sounds like I'm giving hypocritical advice. And the thing with the countdown, I am in general chaotic. Like, it's probably clear 2 seconds into this interview. I just a lot of energy go. And so it's very hard for me to stay focused. So for me, the countdown to Christmas became that because it's so easy, right? As a mom, the number of times I'll be like, I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. And the kids are like, you said it was going to be 5 minutes and it's been half an hour, right? Or I'll get to that next week. And then you look at the calendar and you realize it's been 3 weeks. I have serious time blindness. So it is very easy for me to say, I want to be intentional during December, in that time that I want my kids to feel seen, and to keep shoving it aside because something else popped up that was on fire. So for me, the countdown to Christmas was more about making sure I set aside time to see and be present with my family. So that's why I feel like it's really important to do. If yeah, it doesn't work for everyone, but if you need that structure and you have the time blindness, it is a very valuable tool. And it also doesn't have to be 25 days. Like, I like to start it right away after Thanksgiving because that's the time when I start to ramp up the week before Thanksgiving. That's really when, I start to get overwhelmed. So for me, that's why we do 25 days, because I need to be told immediately in December, I need to start making time for my family. But it doesn't have to be that if that's overwhelming. The activities, again, when we take this, how do we want them to feel as opposed to what do we want to do, it becomes really easy to fill that time. I like to formalize everything. This is how I kept myself from going crazy. We carry a lot of mental load as moms. Humans in general do, adults in general do. But moms, we really wear a badge of honor here. Like we make more decisions before breakfast than anybody else makes all day. And so we have serious decision fatigue by the time we've hit lunch, and we have not made half of our decisions for the day yet. So I have to systematize that. So for my countdown to Christmas, I talk about this a little bit in the Elves workshop, but I like to systematize it. So I will immediately break down. This is how I do dinners too. Like I assign themes. So now I don't have to pick from the whole universe of activities that there are to do. I just know that at least 1/3 of them have to be things we can do at home that are free. And that makes a shorter list. Only 5 of them will be big activities because we can only do them on the weekends. So only 5 of them will be big ones. So I create those rules first. But you can make whatever rules you want, right? That's the beauty of it. You customize it for your family. But the things that we do, like some of them are the things as a family, again, we love them. We enjoy them. We love to bake cookies together. We like to make treats for the neighbors. One day is baking the cookies, then another day is delivering the treats to our neighbors because they're 2 different activities. We get 2 different things out of it. Sometimes it's just watching a Christmas movie. That was one of my kids' favorites. One of ours is because on Christmas Eve, we dress. My kids love the tradition of the matching pajamas. I know we are not the only family that does this. My family has, I don't know why this was the thing, but they like the pajamas. My daughter, like my kids are all grown now. My daughter, after she had children, was very disappointed the first year that I didn't do it because I'm like, nobody's here. And she was like, we were all ready to put on our pajamas when we came over in the morning. So now that all my children are adults, we still do the pajamas, and everybody, even if they have to drive in their pajamas, they come in their pajamas. So, anyways, pajamas are always a thing. Sorry, this is me, I ramble. But they're easy things, right? Like they're easy things. They don't have to be big things. Gingerbread houses, I don't like to do. My family's not good at it. That's not one of our things. We do love to make ornaments. There's no sense to what we like and what we don't like. But so for each family, it's different. It's different. And they don't have to be Christmas activities. They don't have to be. My family loves to play badminton if we've got nice enough weather. We're in Virginia, so sometimes we do. That one of the activities is badminton, or sometimes we leave it open-ended and we just get to play a game outside. We love to do puzzles together. That's it. Doesn't have to be Christmas related. Again, it's about how do you want them to feel? What is it you're trying to accomplish with this? And can you carve out a little bit of time each day to do it? And then you look at your schedule. So when my kids were here and they were busy, when I had a bunch of teenagers and they all had activities and wrestling and all that in the winter, sometimes it was something very little at the end of night. Like we just have hot cocoa after they come home. Like it's not about making this big, ridiculous list of like lifelong memories you're going to create, but it does. My kids remember having hot cocoa after wrestling because we made a point to do it as a family. So, anyways, I guess that's
You know, you gave us a lot of
yeah.
things to think about as you were going through there. I'm like, okay, so I have some of these. Like the night before Christmas, we always sit down and read the night before Christmas book.
Yep.
Even though my kids are much older now, so they still like taking that children's book and reading it. Now, I know that you are very big on systems.
Yes.
So, for any moms out there who feel like they don't have the time for one more project, how can they make this work without adding stress or expense to the
Great
holidays?
question. So start small, right? Like I said, you don't have to do 25 days. And if that stresses you out to try and think of 25 days of things you would do, even though I'm telling you they can be very small, but if it stresses you out, start small. Do 12 days, right? Do the 12 days of Christmas. Do 10. Like you're making up the rules. Do 5. Like it doesn't matter. Start small so that you can see, right? Because it's either going to work for your family or not. I suspect it will. I think that after a week of intentionally making time for your family, everyone in your family is going to love that and you will want to do it longer. But start small. Make it like this is exactly how I do anything, right? If I don't want to clean, I'm like, okay, I only commit to cleaning for 5 minutes. And by the time you're cleaning for 5 minutes, the other things you need to clean. If I'm going to work out, okay, I'm only going to work out for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, you want to keep going. So if that's the hump you need to get over, I'm only going to do this for 3 days, right? I'm going to try it for 3 days. So start small and then use what you already have at home. Like this, having kids is expensive. Christmas is expensive. And so I cannot emphasize this point enough. You don't want to add stress to it's supposed to be joyful, right? So you don't want to add stress. And so if finances are in any way a stress or the potential to be stressful, Don't add that here. You don't have to spend money to make the season magical. And in fact, again, my impetus for this was that I realized my kids didn't care about the money that we spent. They didn't remember the things. So you can bake cookies with ingredients you already have at home. They don't have to be super fancy, like chocolate dipped peppermint candies. You can do sugar cookies. And I think almost all of us always have what you need for sugar cookies at home. So use what you have at home. If you want to make ornaments, use stuff you have at home. That's a fun. Like we had a lot of fun. I love those things. My family's not creative at all. I have one daughter who is semi-artistic, so she usually crushes us anytime we do this. But like some of our best things is just to pull out the craft closet, all these random things, and be like, what can you make with it? And they're hideous. They are hideous in my family. And that's half the fun. Like, so use what you have at home. And it can be, like you said, you read the same story. You can watch a Christmas movie. You can sing Christmas carols. You literally need nothing. You can turn on Spotify and sing along, right? So use what you have at home. Start small, use what you have at home so you can keep this low stress, low pressure. And I really do think like it's the act of setting aside the time. Like once you've done that and you feel good about having done that and realize how easy it was, and once your kids see, or your family, your whole family, right, sees this is a priority to my mom, to my family, it changes things. It really does. And it doesn't take much to see that. So start small, do stuff at home, see how easy it is, and I think you'll be sold on this concept.
You've given us a lot to think about there. And I want to ask this question personally for myself because my kids are a little bit older. I definitely don't have young ones in the house anymore. And I know that some people, a lot of people who are listening might be in the same boat. And it sounds like that you have some grown ones too. So talk about how this translates as as the children get older and maybe have their own families.
So it's fun because they like my daughter, I only have one child that has kids now, but she is including them in our family tradition one, which is fun, right? It breathes new life into the whole tradition because it's the little ones that see the magic. And it's so cool now. Like again, I missed the boat because I didn't start it till later, right? I was slow to wake up to the fact that I was just doing Christmas all wrong. So I missed it with my kids. Like the magic was oh, Santa brought all these presents. Now that my daughter has all of her teen years, we were doing it this new way, and she has kids now. That's how her kids are enjoying Christmas. And it is just a whole newfound joy to see that. And then she's taking this philosophy with her own children and adding new things because as a family unit, her husband and her kids have some different preferences. This is my artistic daughter, so she does a lot more craft. They do the gingerbread houses, right? Like they do for Halloween the carving of pumpkins. My least favorite thing ever, honestly. So she takes the spirit of what we did as a family and she's giving it new life in her own family while integrating her family back into our core. So it's a beautiful, like almost like a tree that keeps growing, right? The roots are still there and they're strong, but like the branches are beautiful to watch how they're developing.
Oh, I love that. I love that description of everything. So, Corinne, thank you so much for sharing all of your wonderful knowledge with us today. And before we hang up here, any last minute tips for the audience?
So the big one is this is even if you're like listening and you're nodding, you're like, this sounds great. I totally want to do this. You will get thrown off because life happens. And so my biggest tip, aside from starting small, like what we just said, is to plan in advance your yeses and your nos. Be crystal clear on that before you get to the holiday season. And by the time that you're listening to this, it will still be early enough. Like you can get ahead of it still. Know what's important and what you will always say yes to. I was so bad at this for so long. So this is super important to me. So know what's important. So those are your non-negotiables. And then know what is doesn't fall there so you can say no. I have a really hard time saying no. I still do. But this has helped. If I know it before someone asks me, I'm already prepared. Okay, if they're going to ask me to volunteer in an activity that was not already on my calendar, the answer is no, and I have no guilt about it, right? So be really clear as soon as you can. Get really clear on what your non-negotiables are for the holiday season, what your focus is going to be, and then what you're okay saying no to. And that will help you when you're in the thick of it, right? Like with that countdown, and you're like, we're going to blow off tonight's activity. I just can't find time. right? If you're crystal clear, for us in business, it's our why, right? Knowing our why, it works just as well in your family. So be crystal clear on what you're trying to accomplish, and it will make it easier to make sure you keep those moments stolen. To that point, if you miss a night, that is not the end of the world because this is your thing, right? So, like, you didn't fail. You don't throw out the countdown or you throw out family time because you messed up one night or somebody's schedule shifted. But for you, you've got a lot of control, particularly if you plan in advance for that.
That. And Corinne, can you let the folks know where they can find you? And I believe you have a free gift for them also.
I do. So, yes, I'm at Wondermom Wannabe. And if you go to wondermomwannabe.com/dinner-ideas, I've got a dinner ideas guide that, because again, I like to theme, I want to take the decision fatigue away. Meal planning is what's for dinner is like the biggest pain point in my personal life at all times because people in my family are always asking long before I'm prepared to answer it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't you just eat yesterday? So I made this guide for me based on the system that I use. I themed everything. So, like, we have a Mexican night, an Italian night, an air fryer night, a slow cooker night. No matter how you like to do it, like, it's by protein. There are plenty of ideas. They are hyperlinked directly to recipes. So it's taken all the thinking out of dinner. And it's just like one of the ways that I systematize really one of my biggest pain points. And then I'm Wonder Mom Wannabe on all social media. So if you on the social media is where I am. I'm not on TikTok. So don't look for me there. But Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, you can find me there. And I'm really excited about my kit for the summit for Elva's workshop. I've got a holiday countdown kit. So if you were sold on this idea, please do show up at the summit or come claim your free gift. It's totally free there to help you put this all together if it's a little overwhelming, with plenty of ideas to help you fill in that calendar in case you're stumped.
And I will make sure that all of those links are in the show notes. But if you want the free gift for the summit, you're going to have to register for the summit. So make sure that you do that. And Corinne, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved our conversation, and
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to the holidays now. Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free Hobby School online learning summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to hobbyschool.com, and that's Hobby School with school without an H in it. Talk soon.